I've told this story only once before, not to the military, not to doctors. Only now, because I'm running out of time and because it still remembers me. It was February 1944 when our company was sent to a small village near the forest line. No strategic importance. Just hold the position, wait for further orders. That's what we were told. The locals were gone when we arrived. Not evacuated, gone. Meals were half-eaten. Beds were unmade. A pot was still warm on the stove. It felt like walking into a moment someone had just abandoned, a picture frozen in time. The forest stood too close. Trees pressed in from every side, thick and dark, even in daylight. The air smelled old, damp, like soil that hadn't been disturbed in centuries. The first night I couldn't sleep, not because of fear, but because of the silence. No wind, no animals, no distant artillery, nothing. Even our own breathing felt too loud in that oppressive quiet. At some point, deep in the night, I realized I could hear footsteps outside the house, but they weren't moving closer or farther away. They were just circling, patient, relentless. When I finally dared to look out the window, I saw nothing but the still, dark trees. The second day, one of our men disappeared. His name was Mikhail. He was a quiet guy, smoked too much, kept to himself. He went to fetch water from the well at the edge of the village and simply never came back. We found his canteen on the ground near the well. It was standing upright, perfectly placed, like someone had set it down gently. There were footprints in the snow, his footprints. They led from the well toward the forest. And then they just stopped. They didn't fade out. They weren't covered by more snow. They just ended, as if he'd been plucked straight from the earth. That night, the voices began. They weren't shouting, not calling for help. They were whispering. And I heard my mother, clear as day. She used my childhood nickname, the one no one else knew. She sounded close, right outside the window, and she sounded tired, like she had been waiting for a very long time. I stood up before I even realized what I was doing, a pull I couldn't explain drawing me toward the door. Suddenly, someone grabbed my arm and pulled me back hard. It was my friend, Ivan. His face was pale, his eyes wide with terror. He whispered, "Don't answer. Whatever you do, don't answer." Others weren't so lucky. One man, a corporal named Grigory, walked out of the house, calmly, with a small smile on his face, like he was going to meet someone he trusted. We never saw him again. By the third night, the forest itself felt different. Closer. The trees didn't move, but it felt like they were leaning in, watching us. The darkness between them looked layered, like something solid was standing just behind the veil of night. We tried to leave at dawn, but the road was gone, not blocked by a fallen tree, not destroyed by an explosion. Gone. In its place stood more trees. Trees we were certain hadn't been there the day before. Panic started to set in. Men started arguing, shouting. Some started crying. One soldier swore he saw himself standing at the forest edge, just staring back at him with empty eyes. The village church was the only place that felt solid, the only place the silence felt natural instead of menacing. In the basement we found old parish records, dusty books filled with names and dates. Entire families wiped out over decades. And always the same note written in the margins, in different, spidery handwriting. They listened. That night, the forest began to speak with our voices. I heard Ivan laughing somewhere among the trees, telling a joke he'd told us earlier that day. The same words, the same rhythm, the same pause before the punchline. My blood ran cold. I shouted his name, my voice cracking. The laughter stopped instantly. Then a voice that was Evan's, but not Ivan's, answered from the darkness. Why did you stop following? Something moved between the trees. It was tall and wrongly shaped. Like a man trying very hard to remember how to stand like one, its limbs bending at angles they shouldn't. I don't remember deciding to run. I just remember falling. I remember the shock of cold mud on my face, branches tearing at my coat, pulling me back, and then I was out. The forest ended as suddenly as it began. I collapsed near a frozen stream and didn't wake up until the next morning. I was alone. They told me I was lucky, a survivor, the only one. The village was erased from military maps. Officially, the entire company was lost to enemy action. But sometimes, late at night, when the house is quiet, I hear footsteps outside my window, slow, careful, and a voice that sounds exactly like mine whispers from the dark, "We're still waiting for you. Thank you for listening to my story." If you've ever felt a chill you couldn't explain or heard a voice in the silence, maybe you'll understand. Please subscribe for more stories from the shadows. Stay safe out there